Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to present a topic of modal verbs, ability, can, call, and will for invitation, offers, request, and permission. And then modals, permission, and obligation. So my name is ALIYAH ULATH, and let's talk about the topic. So the topic here is modal verbs. So what is the modal verbs? Modal verb is type word used to help verbs in expressing something. Modal verbs can be called helping verbs. So when used, there must be another verbs after it. So usually modal verbs are used for some purposes. The first to express the ability. Yeah, so modal verbs in ability is can and can't, could and couldn't, and then could have. So can and can't usually we use for a talk about someone's skill or general abilities. For the example, she can speak body language or my mom can't cooking. For can and can't also talk about the ability to do something as a specific time in the present or future. Example, I can see you or help, I can breathe. And then call and couldn't talk about the past. And the last modal verbs in ability is could have. We use could have to say that someone had the ability or opportunity to do something, but did not do it. Example, I could have danced all night, but I didn't. Next, we talk about modal verb in invitation and offers, request, and permission. So I will show you about modal verb in offers and invitation. The modal verb is would plus like, can plus get, also would and can. So usually we use would plus like a lot for offers. It's very useful for different situation. For example, would you like your breakfast? Next is can plus get. So for more informal invitation, you can use can plus get. Get means buy in this context. Example, can I get some tea? The last is wool and can. So we also use wool and can for offering to help someone. Example, would you send him a love letter for me if I ask you? Next is request. So in a request, we also use modals can and call for asking something or making a result or asking permission. For example, could you open the window? Is the most formal. And then may is the most formal way to ask for and give permission. Like may I go to the toilet? That. The next modal verb in permission is can't and mustn't. We use can't and mustn't to show that something is prohibited. We use can to talk about something that is against the rules, particularly when we didn't more the rules. Next is must not. We use must not to talk about what is the next modal verb in permission is can't and mustn't. We use can't and mustn't to show that something is prohibited. We use can to talk about something that is against the rules, particularly when we didn't more the rules. Like example, you can take photos in the museum. Next is must not. We use must not to talk about what is not permitted. It is command on public signs and notice informing people of rules and laws. Example, baggage must not be left unattended. And then we use mustn't particularly when the prohibition come from the speaker. Like example, parents say to her child, you mustn't say things like that to your sister. Finally, the last is about obligation. In obligation, we use have to and must to express obligation. There is a slight difference between the way we use them. In ability, have to use that the obligation come from outside the speaker. Example, we have to wear a uniform when we are working in reception. must expresses a strong obligation or necessary. It often shows us that the obligation comes from the speakers or the author that wrote the sentence. Like example, I must phone my dad. It is birthday today. Yeah, the last in obligation is no obligation. We used to don't have to show that there is no obligation. You can do something if you want to, but it's not compulsory. Example, you don't have to go to the bank to do a transfer. You can do it online. So maybe that's all about I show you how work in modal verbs. Yeah, I'm sorry if something wrong about what I learn and show you about the modal verbs. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.